Joe Stefanelli and I went to school together, and we went to war together in the New Guinea and competed against each other making war drawings. He did it for Yank magazine, and there he is, still chasing all these girls. Nothing's changed. And he knows it.
I'll leave out a few details. Stefanelli was my boy's friend. We went to elementary school together, and amazingly enough, we both grew up as artists. And here we are, 70, both of us, and still close, intimate friends, and both very serious artists. He's a very serious artist. But about 20-some years ago, I decided to put him in his painting with all his women. You know, because he discovered he could attract women. And the moment he found that out, he went off the deep end. So one day I had him pose for me, and I put all his women, and I think the end one he did marry at one time, but that was much later. But that's the story of this painting.
As far as my lady is concerned, it's an old elm tree that died. And I carved it up at Skowhegan in Maine. That's where the tree came from. And it used to have the bark on it where the crotch is. And I sent it to a show in Philadelphia, and they peeled it off. They thought it was licentious. So now there's no more bark. Isn't that awful?
Wait a minute, what did it have on the crotch?
They were much more shocked when it got peeled of its bark and saw what was there. So it really became the crotch. And later you can go over and take a shot at it. I'm working on a whole new group of wood sculptures that are all abstract that I'm going to show in about 2 weeks here. And they're just being finished up. And they're mostly things based on drawings I did in the 30s. But they're very abstract, and it's a whole series. So I'll be showing those in 2 weeks. And some drawings. They look a little different than the human stuff. My big problem is usually I do sculpture on commission, big job, big projects. I finished one last year called Worldwide Plaza. It's a big fountain in the middle of Manhattan, and it's 22 feet high and about 45 feet across. And then before that, I did a fountain in Philadelphia across from City Hall. And then the West Point Jewish Chapel, I did all the artwork for that building. And it's been going back for 20, 30 years. And when you do something like that, the marvelous thing about it is you got to get involved with the architecture to such an extent that it restricts what you're going to do or what you would like to do. And it always takes you someplace else, which is always marvelous. You find yourself doing something you had no intention of doing and exploring on a certain element. And I love that. And I love the puzzle it makes, the complications of time. So something like the West Point Chapel, I'm involved with the actual walls of the building where the sculpture goes through a window and turns from bronze into wood as it goes through the window. And it's something that later reflects in some of my other work because I begin using that material again in some way. And so this goes on. It's always, and I've done stained glass, I've done mosaics, I've done frescoes, and so I get a real big kick out of it, and it affects my work. But as far as modes, present modes, what my friends are doing, so forth, it keeps changing. They keep changing, and we have to work with it.
But this one, you get out there to the table. Nope.
as head of the Pollock-Krasner Foundation, I'm very honored to be here in Provincetown tonight because this 15th anniversary of the Long Point Gallery is really a very significant event, not because it's the 15th anniversary as much as it is the Long Point Gallery. And when it comes to the best and the brightest of American living artists, this gallery is a choice nucleus of some of the most talented men and women alive today on the American art scene. Also, there is an aspect of fellowship, integrity, and camaraderie to this wonderful place that makes it very special and very unique, which is why I'm honored on a very hot night in a very hot room to be here and to pay tribute to my colleagues and friends in a few minutes.
The only thing that's abstract expressionist is a certain technical aspect of the picture, the way the paint is put on, and the conception in terms of spatial conception. It's not built just totally on the delineation of a figure, but also the dynamics of a painting has to do with abstract expressionism and the freedom that one's mind can play. Psychologically, you can see I'm interested in the psychological and the emotional depth of a painting. That's a nice simplistic way to describe everything.
Can I say a few things?
Yeah.
I mean, merely from the outside looking in, knowing Nora a long time and particularly observing the special nature and character of her work, that if she does hair or if she does folds in a clothing, as in this particular painting, they're very much a part of the structure and rhythm of the painting. They're not there for the purpose of identifying hair, but in a way add to the totality of an aesthetic idea or conception, some idea of harmony. There's another, even more powerfully overriding quality in her work that I feel, and that is her work's essentially psychological and mythic. The vulnerability of the sleeping woman and that rather evil monster lurking behind her, for me, has the character of nightmare. And I think that's the power of the poet and the composer and the painter, to provoke and evoke something beyond the image. And that's what she does.
Sounds perfect to me.
You know, I've said that many times about
I know
her
you
work.
have, but it sounds perfect.
Well, it's true. It's true. The color yellow is symbolic of something. I don't quite know what it is. I don't quite know until I find it. Now this is really, for me, a painting of luminosity, light. Light is not a tangible thing. It's a sensation or a feeling or an experience. I'm more interested in the transcendental than in the actual. So I strive to externalize feelings that I don't even know about until I find them in the process of painting. This sounds like a lot of nonsense, but that's the way it is. I think art has to inform and not describe. I think it should bring the spectator, or rather the participator, into a new realm. Not everybody is capable of participating. Only those who have the sensibility, the experience, and the intelligence are capable of experiencing the work. The further the work gets from the appearance of things, the smaller the group of people who would respond to it. As Stendhal said, and Stendhal wrote in 1827, He said, in 1927, perhaps they will understand me. There are 5 million Frenchmen alive now, of which 50,000 perhaps have been educated, of which 5,000 only understand me now. Perhaps in 100 years there will be more. I think that's the fate of any artist. The artist is either a saint or a prophet. The saint does the correct thing. The prophet even sings his song in the wilderness because he must sing the song. Now, relevant to this painting is not a picture of anything. It's a painting of vibration, color sensation, certain kind of space, and something to contemplate. If you ride past it in the subway, you'll never see it. It's time in this world to pause, speculate, wait, and wait for the message. If it's there, you'll get it. If it's not there, you won't.
Actually, this is a very spiritual painting because of the combination of elements that are in the paint. That it's something that you can't touch, you've never seen before, and it's a kind of an experience that you would have if you were sort of dreaming about something, maybe even of perfection. There's something almost of a state of perfection about this painting. So this is an artist's mind that we're
Two things. It has to have psychological meaning, and it has to have aesthetic unity. Sometimes you get one and not the other. You got to have the two of them together, and the tension of the two make the work valid for me. That's the thing.
Now, when you finished this painting, did you feel like you had found something, that you had expressed something that you were satisfied with?
Yes, I know when it's finished. It tells me when it's finished. I never know beforehand. That means tremendous risks, a lot of destruction and reconstruction in the work, not being boxed in or locked into a fixed idea or fixed image, keeping the thing fluid so that as you work, it takes shape as dictated by your inner necessity and not by the immediate appearance. You have to be willing to kill the best part of it if the total thing doesn't work. And to be able to open it up again and throw it back. And if the idea is strong enough to find a better form, that's how it works.
I want to introduce two people. One person doesn't need an introduction, but Hawkins, who, as everybody must know, is a member of the Long Point Gallery, and he is going to introduce Charlie Bergman of the Pollock Krasner Foundation, who's going to say a few words on this occasion. But
The turnout has been wonderful, and all I can say as a member of the gallery is how privileged we are to have been involved with Provincetown Arts and with the general community of whom you are the most important members, actually. Everybody here in some way or other is a supporter of what goes on in this town in terms of painting, sculpture, magazines, poetry, theater, whatever. And we owe you a tremendous debt, because without you, we really wouldn't exist. A couple of things just very quickly about the gallery. And before I say that, I just want to say something to Chris about how important I think his magazine is, the work he's doing with it, the clarity and excitement of the magazine is extremely important for this community. One thing we have to realize is that nothing gets along by itself. It has to have support, and everybody has been wonderfully supportive, and I hope all of you not only buy a copy of Provincetown Arts, but send 2 or 3 to friends at home or whatever. We would like to see everything that's been going on here today that this represents somehow expanded and enriched. One quick little thing about the gallery, because we feel it's very much part of Provincetown, all of us. Nora there, Leo, Zidio, all of us, all the rest of you. we feel extremely connected, interconnected with all of you. And this has been our privilege to have had these years here. This is our 15th summer to show our work, and it's partly a labor of love on our part. Money is not the crucial issue, as I think Chris Jordan points out. I would like to point out as a, my way of saying thanks, a plea, because next week, or 2 weeks later, there's going to be a wonderful show here. It's going to be my show, and I can only say this, the food will be much, much better. Don't believe that, but come in. Anyway, at this point, I'd like to introduce Charlie Bregman, who has come up here to talk to all of you about what he's experienced through looking at the gallery, the Provincetown scene itself, the Provincetown Arts magazine. He's the director of the Craftsman Pollock Foundation and has been an important fixture on the scene of helping artists, looking into the situation of artists who have been talented but perhaps overlooked in certain ways, or perhaps they have been looked at but not responded to. He has a kind of finger on the pulse, and he has some things to say, which I think we should all be listening to. Charlie.
Thank you, Bud. It is a tremendous privilege, even on a hot, spritzing night, to be in this gallery for many, many reasons for me. As head of the Pollock-Krasner Foundation, it is my privilege to travel around the world looking at the best and brightest of painting, sculpture, graphic, and mixed media installation art worldwide. And thanks to 3 individuals, Provincetown has become a very important part of my professional and indeed my personal and emotional life. My good friend Stuart Levy brought me here for the first time. I met Chris Busa, whom I shall speak about further in a moment, and then I became a great friend and admirer of Leo Manso, part of this remarkable group. This gallery is indeed an institution of national significance. And my words mean nothing, but in a sense, I'm here tonight to pay homage and tribute not just to a gallery, but sincerely to an institution, a national institution. The talent and expertise and quality of what is shown in these rooms has been and is really, truly remarkable. There is also, in my opinion, an integrity and a fellowship, a camaraderie, a loyalty and a caring that identifies this group in a very, very special and beautiful way. All of this, for me, has been summarized so beautifully by Chris Busa's annual Provincetown Arts, the current issue, which I have read twice now, and what a beautiful memento this magazine is of what this remarkable gallery represents. I want to pay special tribute to Mary Abel, who keeps this gallery running with such flair and quality. And is Mary in the room? Well, she's working characteristically so. I don't have anything more to say but to salute with affection and respect the remarkable group that constitute Long Point. And please God, on your 25th anniversary, you will have air conditioning. And I would like to propose that Paul Resica donate.
sense of community that is evident here tonight. Somebody was trying to, I think it was Leo Matza was saying, this is for you tonight. I said, well, actually, Leo, it's for you. It's for all the Long Point people. One of the things that I've tried hard to do is be invisible over the years. It's unfortunate when you have these required obligatory occasions and you have to make a speech, but it's all because of the people that have inspired in the first place. When Long Point began 15 years ago, 15. They said they were beginning the gallery because it was, they perceived a low point in the community. And one of the inspiring things that inspired me to start Provincetown Arts with my first partner, Ray Ellman, was the sense that it was a terrific gallery, a bunch of terrific artists, and boy, you could really do a good magazine in this town with this kind of talent. And that's precisely what I'm trying to do. And it's been a very mutual, collaborative situation. What can anyone say? Everybody gives and gives and gives. Nobody is doing it because there's a lot of money involved. There isn't a lot of money involved. In fact, there's the absence of money. In fact, the amazing thing about being an artist is how to survive on no money. That's the really abstract idea that has perplexed me for a long time. But I'm thrilled that they like the magazine. That's always the hardest thing, is to try to say something you actually believe and get people to respond in a positive way, which has been terrific. The other subversive point, I guess, it just occurred to me, on the cover of the magazine is a quote from Robert Motherwell talking about the ability of artists to work cooperatively with respect for each other, and that is a very radical idea, since artists are known as anarchists and they seldom join any club. It's a very, very radical idea for artists to band together in a cooperative way, and I think that they should be congratulated for doing phenomenal